Okay, let's get to our panel. Joining us now from Beijing is Cui Hongjian. He is Senior Research Fellow and Director of the Department of European Studies at the China Institute of International Studies. With us from Hong Kong is Tim Summers. He is a Senior Consulting Fellow with the Asia Programme at Chatham House. Also joining us from London is Yu Zhe. She teaches at the London School of Economics and she's the head of China Foresight at LSE IDEAS. And from London too, we're joined by Stephen Perry. He is chairman of the 48 Group Club and he's made over 200 trips to China. Welcome to all of you to the show. Cui Hongjian, let me start with you. What is your assessment of Theresa May's visit to China and what do you think it will accomplish in terms of China-UK relations?
Yes, as we know, this visit by Prime Minister, take place at a very, critical time. Not only for UK, as we know, because of the background of the Brexit, and also for China, as we know, after the Party's Congress, now China is showing more, willingness to be part of the, a new globalization. So I think, we can find so many significance for this visit at different categories. Firstly, I think for bilateral relations, indeed, it's a good time for both sides to deliver a positive message, say that China and the UK will continue this so-called golden era, relations, and also for the regional level. As we know, the Brexit means that there will be a new framework between China and the European Union, between China and the UK, and between UK and the European Union. So I think it's a very good time for China and the UK to deliver some more positive message to China-Europe relations. And of course, on the global level, now we are, facing some problem of this globalization or some, protectionism. Also, we know that the UK showed the, traditional, positive attitude to this free trade and open market like that.
Right.
So I think it's a good time for China and the UK to try to, deliver a message to the world that China, UK will do something more, will have some more collaboration to help the free trade and opening market like that.
Okay, you mentioned Brexit there, and Stephen Perry, as we are all aware, Britain is getting ready to leave the European Union. So given that, how important is this visit for Theresa May as she tries to build on Britain's global trade relations post-Brexit?
Well, whether we leave Europe or we don't leave Europe, China's of great importance to the British. We need to build our trade, whether we're part of the European Union or not. If we leave the European Union, it becomes more important to build our trade. China is increasing its GDP at the size of the Swiss economy every year. There is going to be China as the world's biggest economy within 5 or 10 years. For the British, it's a crucial economy to participate in. And beyond that, we're both members of the Security Council. We both have responsibilities to the world in terms of regional and global peace. We're both very concerned about the environment. And we, of course, got great connections in fields of education and sports and culture. So for the British, China is a great opportunity. There are some difficulties around, but the BRI project of China produces great opportunities for the British, in fact for the whole world. And for the British to develop and grow their economy, we have to participate in BRI in a positive and constructive way.
Joe, if we look at this relationship, Britain is China's second largest trade partner within the European Union, and China is Britain's second largest non-EU trade partner. President Xi Jinping, of course, visited Britain in 2015. That's when he talked about this era, the golden era of the relationship. So what kind of economic opportunities do you see ahead for this relationship?
Yeah, obviously, as we can see, the particular structure of the British economy is very much based on service, whereas the Chinese economy is very much based on manufacture-oriented, making goods. And then obviously the Chinese want to entering the next step or next stage of its own economy, which is the service-oriented, as what China aspire to be in the next 5 or 10 years. And obviously, I think this really give a kind of good complementary towards London and Beijing. So I think the potential is huge in there. We should not really underestimate the fact how well advanced UK as a service-oriented economy in the past, and how much China eager to become part of that kind of economic model as well.
Tim Summers, of course, China's signature globalization outreach is the Belt and Road Initiative. British leaders, business leaders in Britain have been looking at closer cooperation with China on this Belt and Road Initiative, especially in the professional and financial sectors. Now, Prime Minister Theresa May has expressed reservations about the Belt and Road Initiative in the past, but let's listen to what she had to say during the visit. Let's watch.
We've welcomed the opportunities provided by the Belt and Road Initiative to further prosperity and sustainable development across Asia and the wider world. And as with the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, the UK is a natural partner for the Belt and Road Initiative with our unrivalled City of London expertise. And as I've discussed with Premier Li, we've discussed how the UK and China will continue to work together to identify how best we can cooperate on the Belt and Road Initiative across the region and ensure it meets international standards.
So, Tim Summers, is it fair to say that Britain's fully on board the Belt and Road Initiative right now, or does Prime Minister May still have reservations?
Well, I think the response that she gave in the end, the response that you just played, was a pretty positive one. She used the language of natural partners, which I think is important. It's language that had been used previously by the Chancellor and by Chinese officials. And I think reinforcing that message showed that the British government overall is taking quite a positive approach to the Belt and Road Initiative. But we did see before the visit, we saw some uncertainty about the line that she would take. And I think part of what's going on here is that the Belt and Road Initiative has met with some mixed reactions among other countries to which Britain has been quite closely aligned historically. The US, Japan, even France and Germany. Macron's visit just a few weeks ago, he also gave some rather mixed messages on the Belt and Road. Now, I think generally the UK response to this initiative has been more positive over the last couple of years than all of those partners. And I think that remains the same now, given what Theresa May has said in Beijing.
Cui Hongjian, when it comes to countries like the United Kingdom or France for that matter, what can China do to convince these countries that the Belt and Road Initiative is a win-win project?
Yes, also, I would like to say, even for BRI itself, I think that it's just a very, very new thing, not only for China and also for the world. So I think that it will take some more time for China to release some more concrete policy, and also, of course, to insist some principles. I think this, this afternoon, when Mr. Xi met with Prime Minister May, I think she tried to give some more positive response to any kind of suspicions from outside, including that Mr. Xi, stressed that this BRI should be in the principle of with us, the co-discussion and more collaboration and shared, benefits. And also, he stressed that the BRI should be, open and transparent, and also justice, and also win-win cooperation. And also, I think the more important thing, especially give a response to any suspicion, even from Madam May herself, is China said China will, have this BRI projects under the law of the, market and the international rules. So, of course, I understand that there will take some more time for China and some other stakeholders or partners to have some more, full discussion on any kind of rules or any kind of regulations it should be. But of course, I think that at this moment, UK should do something more. Even as our, British guest mentioned that maybe compared with other Western leaders, Prime Minister May showed a more positive attitude towards the BRI. But I think compared with the, the beverage by Prime Minister Cameron, when UK tried to join into AIIB, I think that at this time, UK should do something more to be more, active to this, BRI.
Stephen Perry, what is your view on that? As Britain moves ahead and builds its relationship with China, is the Belt and Road Initiative a good basis or a good framework to improve this relationship?
Oh, well, yes. I mean, the 48 Group has spent 65 years promoting a positive relationship with China, and that's because we believed in the return of China, and now because we expect the new era to present lots of opportunities for the United Kingdom, both inside China and outside China. BRI is of great importance to the British. The financial opportunities, the professional services opportunities, and the opportunities to be involved in a massive urbanization are just incredible for the United Kingdom over the next 10, 20, 30 years. We've got a blip right now. It's about how different systems manage their relationships, how they manage some principles involved. We'll get over those in time, but if you think about the two very different features of BRI, that is green finance and secondly, the transnational nature of most of the infrastructure projects, they require a different basis for the countries involved to agree to work on in order that the banks and other financial sectors can manage the commercial risks involved. So at one level, this is being seen as a matter of high principle. At another level, this is a matter of common sense and to enable the countries and the companies to work together. So I think the problems that are being talked about will be worked out unless somehow some in the West seem to think that we can have a small world that we are involved in and another world that others are involved in. I think those days are well past. So I think the forces of economic pressures will create the opportunities for the governments and the people and the businesses of all these countries to work together. Exactly how it's done will take some time, but it will be done.
And you, Joe, Prime Minister May has been talking about the importance of that relationship. Let's listen to what she had to say.
We're both global countries with a global outlook, and as the United Kingdom is leaving the European Union, we're going to be more outward-looking and looking to enhance our relationships around the world. And this relationship with China is an important part of that.
So, you, Joe, we know that both countries are committed to free trade, committed to globalization. And as this relationship evolves, what are the big challenges that they face?
I think one of the major challenges for both two countries is they do have a different political system. So once you have a different political system, once you come into coordination, such as BRI, it can cause some disputes and conflicts. I mean, that's totally understandable. I just give you one example. If we're talking about infrastructure in the UK, it's going to creating some kind of business incentive to ask British companies to join to build infrastructures, whereas in China, it is very much a government-led initiative and try to encourage the companies to follow the government initiative. So I think there's differences between a top-down approach and the bottom-up approach in here. So inevitably, some misunderstanding would happen. But I think it really takes a matter of time to iron this out and try to work out what they can work with each other, but really abandon what they cannot work with each other.
Cui Hongjian, what is your view on that? How do these two sides address these two very different approaches?
Oh, yes, I think still it's a very important issue now, especially for China and UK, once we have some more, a deeper, cooperation in future. I think that at this moment, it's also a very important issue for the discussion between leaders. For example, during the meeting between Mr. Xi and Prime Minister May, and Mr. Xi stressed that the importance that China and the UK should try to learn from each other, especially culturally. I mean that China and the UK, both of us has a long history, has a very, very significant cultures. So I think once we want to have some more opportunity for working together, undoubtedly we need to have some more, willingness and to understand with each other. Right. And then we can try to learn the very, very useful experience from each other. And then we can try to find out a common culture for our collaboration in future.
Okay, we need to take a break right now. Stay with us. You're on The Heat as we bring you more analysis on the visit of Britain's Prime Minister to China. Stay there, we'll be right back.